What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of The Chi. This is season 4, episode 2. The episode is titled Coolie High, and let's go ahead and talk about it. So we actually start this episode off at Kevin's house. He's basically being super disrespectful to his parents. And one thing that truly annoys me is the fact that, number one, Nina and Dre are piss poor parents. Their only interest is each other, and there is no accountability for Kevin. And what I mean by this is that Kevin is out here cursing. They talked about how Kevin, he showed up to the house drunk and high. And I'm just like, wait a second. He showed up to y'all house drunk and high, and there's no punishments. There's no, you're not going on this college tour. Like, at what point does Kevin get treated like an actual child? And I'm not saying that he's not a teenager. I'm just saying, like, he is their child. Why does Kevin just get to act like an adult? It drives me nuts. And also, another thing that I found interesting in this scene was the fact that Nina was literally talking about how she understands that Kevin is going through some stuff, but he doesn't need to start self-medicating. And I'm like, girl, did you not see the video? Because I'm pretty sure in the video of what was happening to Jake, you could probably see Kevin in the background because he was super involved in what was going down. Like, I don't understand how Kevin has yet to go to any type of therapy. And also, just the fact that you should know at this point, because a couple of days have gone by, that when it happened to Jake, Kevin was right there. So it's just like the fact that y'all don't even talk to this boy. You just let him do whatever he wants, like if he's grown. And then y'all sat up there pretending like as if y'all was really about to punish him, talking about we're going to take away your video games and your TV, and we're going to give you a flip phone. I'm like, first of all, where are you going to find a flip phone in the year of, 2020? Because I'm pretty sure that's what year this season is taking place. Where you going to find a flip phone, girl? Cut it out. So, also, we have Kevin who's upset because Keisha is out here eating the family out of house and home because, as we know, she's carrying that baby. And one thing that really annoyed me was Dre saying, if she doesn't find a family to give the baby to, there's going to be another mouth to feed. And I'm just like, is there? Because I would be so upset if they make Keisha keep that baby, or if Dre and Nina try to adopt that baby. No, that baby gotta go. That is the baby with the rapist. No, thank you. I hate that they even made Keisha's character pregnant this season. It annoys me because that girl has so much potential. But of course, black women as characters in modern TV shows can never prosper. Alright, so let's just go ahead and move on because we next had a scene of Jada and her little masseuse boy toy or whatever, and he wants to take her to her high school reunion. And I'm just like, boy, it's okay for her to go by herself. She'll be fine. It's also kind of weird that she gonna bring somebody who looks like he could be her son there to this high school reunion. He also wants to know what is their relationship because now he is more than her masseuse, but not yet a boyfriend. So after that, we see Trig, and he's over here having flashbacks of how Jake got beat up and how he actually beat up the cop or whatever. So I'm not gonna lie, in this scene, I'm just like, I need Trig to do more than what he's doing. I'm sorry, but Trig's character is not giving what we thought it was gonna give. So now he's talking about how, these things have to stop. But of course, I feel like he's saying this because it happened to Jake and it hit so close to home. We have Imani. She's basically trying to ask him about this party that's about to happen and how she'll go with him, probably go pick up his friend. And he's like, no, I got it. I'll go by myself. They do have like a cute moment where they're talking about grits. Should you eat them sweet or should you eat them with cheese or whatever? Can't lie, I'm the kind of person that goes in between. Sometimes I like them sweet, sometimes I like them with cheese. It just is what it is. I really wish that this season we're going to utilize Imani's character a bit better, because last season I thought that with Imani going into that trap house and they saw all those girls, I thought that like they were going to go back for the girls, you know, fight the gangbangers or whatever. I thought we were really going to get something out of that, but we didn't. So let's go ahead and move on. Oh, y'all, here we go with Emmett. He is just going through it because it is really hitting him that he needs to tell Tiff that, you know, he cheated on her. So Tiff is basically trying to rush out the house because she's trying to get to the studio, because as we know, she still be out here selling weed. So he's like, no, you can't be going to this whatever studio it was. And she's like, boy, I'm known for my customer service and I'm a grown woman. I can protect myself. And she's going to meet up with a rapper. He's like, well, what rapper are you meeting up with? And she says Dreezy. As we know, that is a female rapper. So he wasn't tripping on her or whatever. Now, my question with these two is, number one, where is your son? Where is your child? Because we have not seen this baby in a while. Well, I guess it's last season, but still, where is the baby? Who's watching him? Someone let me know. And then as far as Emmett not telling Tiff yet, I'm just like, how many months have gone by since the last season? Because I find it interesting that it's finally hitting him like, hey, yeah, you should have been told Tiff a long time ago. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on. We see Jake. He's getting ready to go on his college tour. There's a box of condoms there, and he's like, oh no, those aren't mine. That's what he's telling Imani, and she's like, no, I put those there. Just go ahead and be safe while you're on this college tour. I can't lie, I was kind of surprised that that's what she gave him to go on his college tour. But I get it, because Jake seems like he be out here wilding. But what's funny to me is that Trig came in and is like, man, he ain't gonna be able to get none while he got all these broken arms and ailments and all this stuff he got. And Jake talking about some I'll make do. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to hear those words from you, child. I don't. I'm sorry. I will always look at these three characters, Jake, Papa, and Kevin, as children. It is what it is. I don't want them to grow up. So, I did find it interesting that Trig, he's like, you know, you don't have to always be so strong. It's okay if you don't want to go on his college tour. But Jake is like, no, I can't, you know, stay cooped up in this house like that. But I did love when he's like, no, we do have to be that strong. Because honestly, you do have to be strong just to be a black man in America. Like, there are things that you just have to face and, you know, take it on a chin. And for them both to tell each other that they love each other, I was like, I do love the sentimental moments that happen with Jake and Trig. But at the same time, I'm sorry, I do miss Reg. I do miss that roughness, that edge, because I feel like we thought we were going to get that with Trig, but we didn't, because Trig is kind of on the soft side. I'm sorry, he's really a softie. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to this next scene, because y'all should already know I was annoyed by Gemma because she's literally trying to like film a video of her and Kevin, and she's talking about how she's planning on studying this in college and doing that. And when it comes to Kevin, he's like, you know, I don't know what I want to do. All he knows is that he wants to go to college, and that's pretty much it. Like, that is where the bus stops. And she's like, Kevin, I can't post that because I need to show everybody that we're equally yoked. Y'all, I understand that they have made Gemma's character so woke and, you know, so pro-black and all of that. But my problem is that, like, to me, she's just too old. Like, what teenager is saying equally yoked? I can't name not a one teenager that I know, I have met, interacted with, said hello to in passing, that will probably say, I hope that me and my boyfriend, my high school boyfriend, are equally yoked. Bye, Gemma. Goodbye. So at that point, you have Kevin trying to make some small talk with Jake, you know, trying to see like, oh, you know, how's your arm doing? How long you got to wear this cast or whatever. And he's talking about some, oh yeah, I should feel better in about 2 days, right? Now here come Becky from the back. Here comes some white chick talking about oh my God, Jake, you had to stand up to that racist police officer. Is there any way that I can make it better? I'm just like, no, no, no. What we not gonna do is have freaking Jake out here chasing down white girls. Nope, not on my time, not on my watch. But, he was out here trying to game her up, and I'm just like, no, not the white girl. Jake, find you a little black girl who's a little cutie, running around Chicago, but got like her head on straight. Like, why can't Jake have a girlfriend? Come on now. Also, I forgot to mention in this scene that there was a cop car that went by, and Kevin is out here having flashbacks. You already know he is really like messed up and he needs to go see somebody. One thing that they did on this scene that kind of threw me off was at one point, Kevin got fed up with Gemma and he like stood up on the bus. And I'm just like, in what world can a student stand up on a moving school bus? If anybody recalls, when they went to school, that was like the number one rule that the bus driver went over when you first got on the bus. Do not stand up on this bus. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Now, y'all, I'm trying to figure out why they got Keisha working. Why is Keisha working a job? And here's where I'm going with this. So, I'm going to assume that last season, Keisha should have been a senior. Am I correct? Yes. So, she was a senior. I'm pretty sure she probably just like finished school, I would hope, online or, homeschool, some type of way to finish her schooling. Great. Now, I understand that she's an adult now and she needs to make money. But why is she this far along in her pregnancy? And y'all got her out here working. Like, it doesn't even make sense to me. Keisha ain't never had a job in her life, but y'all wait till she's this far along pregnant, and then you make her get this job, because this is a new job for her. Because this whole time we get a montage of her messing up because the person who is over her is micromanaging her, talking about, so we have price tags that have to go this way, and this has to be done that way. But I'm just like, Keisha is at least a good, 6-7 months? Why are we acting like she needs to be working when really she about to be on maternity leave? I don't even understand. But anyways, so while she is at work, she actually ends up running into someone from her high school named Sid. We have never seen this character before, but, they try to have small talk, but it gets a little awkward, because they probably haven't seen each other in a long time. And also the fact that Keisha is pregnant, and I'm pretty sure baby girl's putting two and two together, like, yo, she's probably carrying that rapist's baby. Like, it's a lot. So, she ends up telling old girl, oh, well, the purses are over there. And that was pretty much the end of their conversation, because her micromanager, she comes by and gives her like a bunch of coats to put away. And I'm like, listen, she's very far along. Why are you giving her all this stuff to carry in her arms? Like, I'm really trying to understand what they're doing with this scene. Also, why is Keisha working at a thrift store of all the places? Just why? Also, couldn't she be like taking community college classes? I'm just saying, like, I just want more for Keisha than what we're getting. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Mr. Otis Perry, or should I say Duda. So he is walking around with Rosalind. I think that's Candy's character's name. I'm trying to not call her Candy. Rosalind's on his tails, as well as Gemma's dad. Don't recall that man's name. So either way, they're on his tails, basically trying to tell him, like, you can't just do things because you want to. Like, there's protocol, there's, certain ways that things have to be handled now that you're in office. And Duda is just like, listen, I'm about to do it my way. I'm the HNIC around here, and that's just gonna be that. So Duda actually goes to see the cop who attacked Jake, but it's funny because according to the cop, Jake attacked him. I was like, dude, stop lying, or whatever. So basically, this is Duda trying to get his side of the story, and of course, it does not go over well at all. because right after he left out of that room talking to him, he ended up walking outside and, there's reporters there and they're asking him questions. And he's like, as of today, that police officer is no longer a part of the force. And on top of that, he calls him a racist police officer. So therefore, people, of course, are hating this man. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Papa and Maisha. Okay, can I be honest with y'all real quick? I hate the fact that these three guys do not go to school together anymore, because I feel like there's such a divide with Jake and Kevin going to school together, and then you have Papa, and the only person who he really has to film with is Maisha, because he's not exactly in that group anymore. So I'm like, at this point, I don't know how long they're really going to keep their friendship thriving on this show. Just because Papa is kind of like the single man out in that situation. But either way, back to the scene, we have Papa coming up with this great idea that he's going to do a podcast. So him and Maisha are kind of setting up his closet, to make the sound go correct for the podcast. And I'm like, okay, I can definitely see him having that. So Papa actually ended up mentioning how, he keeps thinking about what happened to Kevin and Jake. And Maisha has to tell him, like, you're going to do this podcast and, it's going to get the word out, for more people to hear about what's going on basically in the city of Chicago. So she ended up asking him something about his podcast, and he's like, yeah, because my first guest is going to be Van Jones. And she's like, yeah, I support you and all this, but Van Jones is not going to be your first guest. But Papa has it in his mind that Van Jones is coming. One question that I really want to ask Papa is, so where's your dad? Did he get out of jail? Because I can't remember if his dad got out of jail or not. Do y'all remember? Somebody let me know in the comments below. Also, another thing is that, okay, do not hate me for this statement. I do know that Maisha's character as well as Papa's character is that they are considered the heavier, chubby, plus size characters. But because they are so young, because in real life, I think they may be like 16, 17 or something. I really want them to be careful with their health and like watch their health. Like, I understand that their characters have to be plus size or whatever, but I just don't want, just because they are young Black people, I just don't want their weight to get out of control. And then it starts to limit the type of roles that they can get. Because you guys already know how Hollywood is. They see you one way. If you're the fat character, they only keep you in those fat type of roles. And I do not want that for Maisha or Papa's characters. I can't remember what their real names are, but I do think that they're good actors. And I would hate for them to be typecast like that. But let's go ahead and move on. Okay, so we see Shad, aka Jason Weaver, and he is Trig's friend. So basically, he just did a bid in jail for Trig, and now he's out of jail. Trig is about to look out for him. My question is, where did this friendship come from, and how long was he in jail? Because, okay, I'll just talk about that when we get to the party scene. But one thing that I found to be interesting in this scene was, first of all, the fact that Shad thought that he was about to drive. And I'm like, dude, you've been in jail for who knows how long. You're not about to drive this car. You probably don't even have a license. And then secondly, when he mentioned like, oh yeah, I heard you got a girl and she supposed to be so fine and all this stuff. And I was just like, I wonder if he knows that Imani is trans. Like, I just really wonder if he knows or not. But I did laugh when he was like, he wants a girl with small boobs, a big booty, and low standards. I'm just like, ooh, no. Go away from me, Rashad. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Rosalind talking to Gemma's dad about how basically Otis is doing things that he shouldn't be doing. That's not how politics works. And, well, for white people, white politicians, you can say and do whatever you want, but as a black man, he needs to slow his roll. But next thing you know, Duda ends up walking in. So then he's trying to explain that he had to do what he had to do, because this cop was a bad guy. And Rosalind is like, well, listen, now you have the police, they're on a rampage in our neighborhoods because you decided to fire that one cop. So one thing that stood out to me within this scene though, y'all, was when Gemma's dad was like, yeah, well, listen, we're still trying to get the Olympics here. And he's like, nigga, that is your plan. Nothing to do with me. We should have already known that Duda had no interest in trying to get the Olympics to Chicago. Come on now. So at one point, Duda is like, I have to go with my gut and basically do what my gut tells me to do. So Rosalind is like, well, don't let your gut get you killed. So Duda stops in his tracks and is like, wait, was that a threat? And she's like, no, I'm only trying to protect you. And I'm just like, something about the way she said that, I feel like Rosalind may be out here plotting. And as we already know, because of the first episode, Duda is going to get shot in like a month. So we'll see who shot him. All right, let's go ahead and hop on to the next scene, which is Kevin on this college tour. So you have him and Gemma walking together, and she's talking about how, she's starting to feel like college is just a scam, and she doesn't really know if she wants to go and all this stuff. And I'm just like, hold on, girl, because you just got mad at Kevin for saying that he didn't know what he wanted to study in college, but now you're over here talking about you don't know if you really want to go because you feel like it's a scam. Like, girl, bye. See, this is why I don't be liking Gemma. So at this point, you have Gemma going on this long, lengthy rant about how, the system of going to college is just basically for you to get a degree, sure, but you will also be in debt. Now, what she's saying is very true, but it's just like, the messenger. But, as the conversation goes on, you can already see that Kevin is irritated with her, and she mentions how, some people, they don't even have college degrees, they're super successful. So he's like, yeah, like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, well, that can't be me because, as we already know, he's a black kid from Chicago. And she's basically telling him to not dream so small. And he's like, don't tell me, how to think and how to dream. And she's like, oh, so you're mad at me? And he's like, nah, I'm just ready for you to stop talking. And I'm like, you know what? About time. I was waiting for you to say that. So at that point, Kevin is trying to go find Jake or whatever because now he's fed up with Gemma. But where is Jake? Oh, Jake is in the bathroom with Becky over there. And they're like making out and stuff. And I'm just like, why? Because we already know this white girl is out here fetishizing a black man. Well, he ain't a man yet because I don't think he's 18. But y'all know what I'm saying. Like, I really hate that, like, white girls really be starting young like that, fetishizing after black men because they look at them as like this sexual item that they can tackle. And it's so annoying because white girls do this all the time. All right, let's just go ahead and move on to this scene of Darnell and Emmett. They came to the thrift store so they could shop for something for his class reunion, right? So he over here talking about some, Keisha, you think we can get some type of discount up in here? Like, dude, it's a thrift store. Everything is probably under $4. Chill out. So he walks away. He's, going to look for his outfit or whatever. And, of course, we have Keisha and Emmett talk. And I will say that Emmett and Keisha's friendship Oh my gosh, I love it so much just because even though they didn't work out, romantically, I do like that they still have their friendship and how much he actually cares about her and how much he like really tries to look out for her because throughout this conversation, he's checking in on her, see how she is, what's going on with, her trying to find somebody to give the baby to because he actually cares. And then, for her, she's trying to see what's going on with him. And he's like, I still haven't told Tiff. And she's like, listen, you need to go ahead and let her know because at this point, he dragged it out for so long. He should have told her a long time ago. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to the scene that really pissed me off. So we finally see Jake and Kevin together. I'm like, okay, cool. So they happen to be walking down some halls and they end up hearing, some guys playing some video games. And Jake ends up giving Kevin the money. Is like, hey, go ahead and go beat them. So that way, you could probably double the money. So he go in there and is like, oh, can I get in? Can I play or whatever? And they're like, yeah, or whatever. They let him play. And of course, he's like whooping on him. And I'm like, okay, cool. My number one question though is where is Jake? Because Kevin went in there, but Jake did not go with him. I think that was very strange. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on and talk about Tiff because she is going to see her one and only faithful customer, which is Corey Hardrick. I cannot remember what his character's name is. So, he's over here trying to have small talk with her, talking about some, how's the married life going? You don't really look too happy or whatever. And, Tiff is trying to explain, like, things didn't really change because we've already been together for so long. So being married didn't really make anything special, basically. I mean, every time I see these two on screen together, it's just like, all right, something's going to go down. Either it's going to be this episode or another one, but something's going to go down. But let me go ahead and move on to the next scene, which is Otis Perry, aka Duda, making his own decisions and completely ignoring what Rosalind and Gemma's dad thinks. This man has called on an impromptu press conference and has to let the public know that he is defunding the police. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. You stirring up mess, and who knows what's going to happen next in the city of Chicago. So we actually jump back over to Papa and Maisha for a quick second. Papa is in his feelings because Van Jones never showed up, as we knew that he wouldn't. And Maisha is basically letting Papa know that, she should have still believed in her man and all this stuff. And I'm just like, all right, y'all cute or whatever. Let's go ahead and move on because we did get Tiff and Emmett. They are in bed, they're having sex, and the problem is that baby boy can't focus because where is his mind at? Darnell. And what do I mean by Darnell? Darnell is in his head basically telling him how he's stupid for not telling Tiff, for sleeping with Dom, and all the other negative things that Darnell has told him. So Tiff is like, what is wrong with you? What is happening? Because you can't be blacking out mid-stroke and then out here yelling about how you hear voices. Nope, not gonna work. So he finally gets up off of her and she's like, what is wrong? Like, what is happening? And he's like, I have something to tell you. I slept with Dom. At that point, she was done. She got up off that bed. We ain't see Tiff no more. He over here trying to explain. And I'm like, first of all, you shouldn't have just left it at, I slept with Dom. You should have said, some months ago, I slept with Dom. Don't make it seem like it just happened yesterday. Alright, so now we get to this party for Rashad, right? Now here's my question of what I was talking about earlier. When did he do this bid for Trig? Like, how long ago was this? Was this when Trig was still in Chicago? Because I know at one point Trig went to go move somewhere else when Jake was like a child. So if Jake was like, 7, 8 years old when you left him, like how long was Sean in jail? Like I have a bunch of questions in regards to this. So anyway, Sean get there, whatever. He sees Imani trying to like get at her, kind of like flirting with her a little bit. But, Trig is like, nah, that's my girl. Go find you somebody else. So at one point, Trig and Imani are talking, and she's like, okay, well, this was a cool little party. Hopefully this man get on his feet, and we gonna leave it at that. And Trig is like, oh no, actually, he's gonna be staying with us. And Imani's like, what do you mean he's gonna be staying with us? Because she's taking aback because the only other person who needs to be living there is Jake. That's Trig's only responsibility. Like, why are you trying to add this grown man into this household? Also, I feel like in these coming episodes, Shad is going to be a problem. I feel like he's going to try to get at Imani or something. Like, something just ain't right with that situation. And also in this conversation, I felt bad for Imani because, Trig is basically like, well, he did a bid for me, so I have to take care of him. And Imani's like, but would he do that for you? And of course, the answer is probably not. Like, what threw me off is the fact that, first of all, Trig gave him a wad of money. Why can't he put that down for him to get an apartment and get his head on straight? I don't understand that. Secondly, how does it make any sense knowing that you work for Duda and Duda come through your house at any time he feel like it? Like literally Duda walks in and he don't care if it's probably 3 o'clock in the morning or if it's 12 p.m. He's going to walk through your house. Where is Rashad going to be at? Because are you going to have Shad start working for him as well? Like, make it make sense. So let's go ahead and move on to the next scene, which is this high school reunion. First of all, we have Darnell, Nina, and Dre, and then we also have Jada and her little boy toy or whatever. And first of all, they're dressed in 70s attire. Nobody else is because they didn't get the memo that everybody was going to dress regular. I'm like, okay, that's weird. That none of them got the memo and they were all getting their information from Darnell. I'm like, who would trust him? He's still on Bluetooth. Then on top of that, why did it say, I think it was like celebrating class of 1998. 98? What year is this show supposed to take place? Because that's what, celebrate a 23-year-old high school reunion? 23 years? Who does that? It's like every 10 or 5 years. Make it make sense, y'all. Next thing you know, we see Jada and her little boy toy masseuse. They're like standing together, and there's this woman walking up. What do we learn out of that? Oh, the fact that the masseuse, he slept with her too. I'm just like, oh God, that's embarrassing. So let me go ahead and move on to the scene that really pissed me off. And that was Kevin. Oh, Kevin. He literally is playing this game with these white boys and he's beating them. And that's absolutely fine. But my problem is the fact that you have someone who's over here offering him drugs, and one dude, he's like, nah, he's just a kid. Like, let him be. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let kids just be kids. He clearly knows that Kevin does not go to this college and he's on, a tour. And Kevin is like, nah, I'll take it. And I'm just like, since when did Kevin become a druggie? Like, I just hate what they're doing with Kevin's character, just because I definitely feel like Kevin has more sense than to just try random drugs from anybody. Like, what happened to kids just sticking to weed? Is that no longer a thing? Y'all let me know, is that no longer a thing? Because at that point, I'm trying to figure out, so did Kevin just lose all the money because now he tripping off these drugs? I feel like anything could have happened to Kevin, because y'all already know, I don't really trust white people like that. Especially our white frat boys, absolutely not. So at one point, I don't know if they put Kevin out or if Kevin decided to leave, but he's like walking down the hallway or whatever, and we hear Jimmy saying like, "Kevin, where were you? What's going on? Were you with Jake? Like, where were you?" And then we see a teacher behind him talking about where were you? Because I want to know where you were, because he clearly must have been going for a while. But then that really makes me think, well, Jake, why did you leave him? Like, why? I get it that he wasn't, on doing all these drugs then and drinking, but like, why wasn't Jake with Kevin? Like, where did he go? Because Becky was gone already. So where did Jake go? Next thing you know, you have Kevin out here throwing up. I was like, oh Lord, somebody come fix this child. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to this quick little scene of Papa and Maisha. Yeah, baby girl got in the booth and started rapping. That's all I got for it. I'm not even gonna comment on what I thought about that rap. Next scene. So we got a quick scene of Nina talking to Masseuse Boy, basically saying that Jada deserves happiness and how Jada deserves a man to grow old with. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? The whole point of this was moving on to the next thing, which was Tiff. You already know she done put up on Corey Hardrick, and you already know what was about to go down when she got in the door. Clothes were coming off. He knew what was up. And the only thing I kept thinking was, so we not gonna get the scene that we all deserve. We don't get to see you in action, Corey. That's okay though. I'm pretty sure Tia has something to do with that. Tia probably like, nope, y'all not about to be looking at my man like that. I get it. Alright, so then we get a scene with Trig. He was going to like a store or something, and he sees that the police were bothering that guy who, I think his name's like Man or something. The police were bothering him, saying he was trying to do something. And next thing you know, Trig has whipped his phone out, tells everybody else to whip their phone out so that they don't arrest this man and all this stuff. And I'm like, alright, that's cool. This is what we going with. I really want to move on to this next scene, which was Keisha going in on Kevin because he deserved it. She's like, you out here getting kicked off of the college tour when you already know, like, college meant a lot to me because I was supposed to be in college. I was supposed to be going away and, getting a better education and all this stuff. And you over here basically making a mockery of it. And I felt really bad for Keisha in that moment because her character definitely deserved to go to college. And like I said, I don't even understand why she can't even go to community college. What happened to like the local colleges in Chicago? Like, what is happening? I don't understand how this girl was kidnapped. She was raped. Why did the school take her scholarship away? Why couldn't another school, be available to her, that she could go to a different school? I hate that all she got to do in this season, between last season and this season, is become pregnant. Like, I just feel like she deserves so much more. And for Kevin to, screw it up, visiting a college, not even that he attended or got in, it's just like, Kevin, get your life right. I understand that you going through a lot, but you gotta make better choices, man. Alright, so we next see Rosalind and Duda or whatever. She's basically telling him, like, dude, you messed up because you already defunded the police. Now, the cops are probably really acting up in the area. And he's like, well, that's what you signed up for. No, I'm sorry, that's not what happened. She said that this is not what she signed up for. And he said, yeah, this is. And that was pretty much the same. I definitely feel like Rosalind is going to be over Duda very soon in these next coming episodes. All right, let's go ahead and move on. And that is to Jada and her little masseuse boy toy. So, they're in bed and, they're about to have sex. They're making out. He's rubbing on her body and he's like, oh, what's that? Or whatever. And it happens to be a lump. And she's like, boy, I know my body. Don't worry about it. I get it checked every year and it's fine. So we then get a scene of Jada going to the doctor and come to find out she actually has breast cancer. And I was definitely shocked. I did not expect that. Jada broke down crying, and I felt bad for her because Jada can never catch a break. From season 1 to now season 4, Jada can never seem to just get pure happiness and life is good. Like, there's always something tragic happening. Oh wait, y'all, I actually missed a part. And that would be this little montage that they did of what's going on with everybody. We had Kevin's family, they're over here packing up, trying to get ready to leave. And then you had Tiff, she was in bed with Corey Hardrick. And while Emmett is at the house waiting on her to walk back through the doors, which we already know, boy, go ahead and let her go because she is moving on. So we also see Keisha and her family finally realize where they were going. Oh, going to get an ultrasound of the baby, make sure everything's going okay. So we see that Keisha is carrying a healthy baby, and when the doctor ends up asking, do you want to know the sex of the baby? Keisha says no, because of course she plans on giving this baby to somebody else. Now, at one point, you can hear the heartbeat, and Kevin is like, well, what's that? And they're like, that's the baby's heartbeat. And I'm just like, Kevin, how do you not know that? Like, how did you not know? Whatever. The one thing about this scene which really bothered me is that Nina and Dre were over there smiling and so giddy about this baby, and they're like holding each other's hands, and I'm just like, what we're not about to do is create this fantasy as if this is Keisha having her first baby and we need to celebrate and all this stuff. Like, the situation is completely messed up. This poor girl got raped, and then she was pregnant, but she didn't want to get a baby. She didn't want to abort the baby, so she's like, okay, I want to, put the baby up for adoption. And y'all acting like this is like a celebration, and I'm just like, no. That baby is just a reminder of some bad things. Let's be honest here. And they better not make it to where Keisha keep that baby. Or that Dre and Nina try to adopt the baby. Oh my God, no, let's not do that. You guys, that was my review of this episode of The Chi. Let me know what you guys thought about episode 2. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to you in the next one. Bye, guys.